Ms. Hubbard drags Mr. Watson Jr. to Judge Lauren's courtroom. She's furious that Mr. Watson Jr. has been neglecting his child support payments because he believes he's not the father of her 2-year-old daughter. The child expenses totaling over a period of 2 years to the tune of $2,150. Mr. Watson Jr. claims he's not the father of the child. He said that Ms. Hubbard lied to him throughout the pregnancy.
Ms. Hubbard, you've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove to Mr. Watson Jr. that he is the father of your 2-year-old daughter, Amiria Hubbard.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're also seeking 2 years' worth of child care expenses in the amount of $2,150.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Hubbard said she didn't lie about the pregnancy to Mr. Watson Jr. She said she got pregnant in February and she gave birth in November of the same year. She said Mr. Watson was aware of the pregnancy the whole time, but he was never around. She said he has never contributed anything towards the upkeep of the child. With tears in her eyes, she told the judge how she was taking care of her 5 kids and her disabled mother.
Did you lie about your pregnancy?
No, Your Honor. I told Mr. Watson when I got pregnant, when I conceived, when the last time we did have sex with each other, and that was in February of 2012, and I had her in November of 2012, and he knew about her the whole pregnancy. He didn't come around until like...
Ms. Hubbard said when she was pregnant with her child that Mr. Watson came around and took her somewhere, but he refused to give her money. She said she maced him. The whole courtroom, including the judge, gasped. She said she was angry with Mr. Watson. She said he was taunting her that he wouldn't give her any money, so she maced him from his head to his feet. Burst of laughter erupted from some sections of the courtroom.
How hard has it been for you?
Very hard.
I see the tears in your eyes.
Yes, very hard.
Oh, stop.
When I was pregnant with her, he came around and he was supposed to give me some money because I had took him somewhere. He didn't want to give me some gas money to take me in. When I took him somewhere for it, that was the last time that I...
Ms. Hubbard said Mr. Watson has 2 other kids he looks after, but not her own. Mr. Watson interrupted her and said she even sold some of his clothes. Ms. Hubbard said she sold the clothes to take care of his baby. Mr. Watson said that's not his baby. Mr. Watson came clean that he hasn't done anything for the child because he believes he's not the father.
And you're feeling so overwhelmed that when he said he wasn't going to give you the gas money he said, that just upset you so much that you...
It wasn't even about that. He played the whole game like he wanted to be there with me while I was pregnant with her. And he played the whole game the whole time I knew him. The whole back and forth game. He has two other children he does for her, but not mine.
After some heated back and forth between Mr. Watson and Ms. Hubbard, the judge asked Mr. Watson about his doubts concerning the period of pregnancy. Mr. Watson submitted a calendar to the courtroom. He said Ms. Hubbard told him she was 3 months pregnant in August. Then in October, she told him again that she was 3 months pregnant. He said that was when he started questioning the paternity of the child.
What does this calendar outline?
That ain't my baby.
Okay, I don't know if a calendar can prove that, but the DNA will.
Okay, like, all right, when she told
I got
me she was
pregnant February 14, 2012.
One at a time.
And
I'm going to give you both a chance. Let him explain to me what his calendar outlines.
Ms. Hubbard said when she went to see the doctor in March, the doctor told her she conceived on Valentine's Day in February. She said she never told Mr. Watson she was 3 months pregnant in October. She said she was about having her child then, that Mr. Watson was lying. She said she told Mr. Watson about her pregnancy in March after confirming from the doctors.
Ms. Hubbard, can you explain this?
No.
Because I stayed with
when
my
I went to the doctor in March, when I missed my period for the next month, they told me I conceived on Valentine's Day. And I had my baby November the 17th, 2012.
But in October, when you told him you were pregnant the second time.
I didn't tell him in October I was pregnant.
Mr. Watson said he got a call in August from Ms. Hubbard that he was staying with his girl at the time. Ms. Hubbard curtly interrupted him. She said he was staying with his mother, not with any girl. Mr. Watson continued. He said Ms. Hubbard told him she was 3 months pregnant. He said then in October, Ms. Hubbard sent him an ultrasound, that the child in the ultrasound was ready to come out. He said the months were adding up.
She said she was pregnant in March?
She told me August. I got a call from her.
No.
I was staying with my girl.
No.
I got a call from her.
You was staying with my mama. You ain't never stayed with no girl.
She told me that she was pregnant. She was 3 months pregnant. I was like, oh, okay, so I know she probably be pregnant because we did have unprotected sex, so I rode with it.
Mr. Watson said he believed that Ms. Hubbard was lying the whole time, that her motive was to have his child. Ms. Hubbard interjected at the top of her voice that who does Mr. Watson thinks he is, that he doesn't even have any money. She said that Mr. Watson told her that he wants her to be the mother of his child, that he really likes her. She said that Mr. Watson was cheating during when they were together.
So you feel like she was lying.
The whole time.
And her motive to lie is what?
Cause she wanted to have a baby by me.
Who are you?
She told me.
You don't have no
She
money.
told
You're not
me.
even taking care of her,
told
isn't
me.
it? He told me he wanted me to be his baby mama. He really liked me. That's how it started.
Mr. Watson submitted a diary that belongs to Ms. Hubbard to the courtroom. He said the diary proves that Ms. Hubbard was, and still is, a freak. He said the diary shows the other men she had slept with. Ms. Hubbard said she kept the diary when she was a teenager, not as an adult. Another argument broke out between them. Only the DNA test can put an end to this squabble.
Mr. Watson, you are Amiria's father.
Deadbeat. Like I told you. Nope.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Puckett brings Mr. Macon to Judge Lauren's courtroom. She claims that Mr. Macon got her pregnant while he was still living with his current girlfriend, who was also present in court. She said that Mr. Macon got both of them pregnant around the same time. Now they both have 2-year-old sons named Stephen Macon Jr. Mr. Macon claims that he's not the father of Ms. Puckett's child.
Ms. Puckett, you claim the defendant, Stephen Macon, fathered your child while in a relationship with his current girlfriend, Ms. Glover.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you can prove he got you pregnant at the same time, and now you both have 2-year-old children named Stephen Macon Jr.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Macon said that Ms. Puckett already has 5 kids fathered by 5 different men. He said when he had sex with Ms. Puckett that he used protection, and he was with Ms. Glover at the time. Ms. Glover rolled her eyes in a mocking manner. Mr. Macon said that Ms. Puckett tattooed his name on her neck 3 weeks after meeting her. Ms. Puckett refuted the statement.
She got 5 kids by 5 different baby dads.
And you could be the 6th.
No, I ain't. If we ain't have sex till like 3 months after, I wouldn't even have sex.
But you did have sex
me
with her.
and Miss Glover, we wasn't together at the time.
Did you use protection?
Yes.
Ms. Puckett said when she found out she was pregnant after taking a pregnancy test, she called Mr. Macon. She said she didn't know that Mr. Macon had an on and off girlfriend at the time. Ms. Puckett said they were dating, that Mr. Macon treated her well, and bought her stuff. She said when she was pregnant that Mr. Macon was rubbing on her belly, excited and all. She submitted a picture to the court to buttress her point. Mr. Macon didn't deny it.
Did you know he had a girlfriend that he was off and on with?
No.
So in your mind, what was this thing you all had?
Well, we was dating. He was treating me real good. He buy me stuff. He gave me money when I needed it. He said, he'd say if I needed anything, my kids anything, he'd do for them. When I was pregnant, he was rubbing on my belly like he was happy and he was concerned about it.
Mr. Macon said that Ms. Puckett was sleeping around with a whole lot of other people. He said some of his friends used to spend the night over at Ms. Puckett's house. Ms. Puckett said that it was not true. Mr. Macon said he didn't have sex with Ms. Puckett until 3 months after he met her. He said that Ms. Puckett, on the other hand, wanted to have sex every single day.
It's not my child. No, she was sleeping around with a whole lot of people. I know it for.
Do you have any proof of that? Did you bring the court anything? Did you hear anything? Did you talk to someone? Did you see her? Did you
Yeah, my own
catch her?
friends, they used to spend the night over there. Like, it wasn't nothing.
Your friends used to spend
Yeah.
the night over her house? Like,
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Ms. Puckett said that last week before they appeared in court that Mr. Macon sent her a message on Facebook that if they eventually found out that he was the father, that he would move in with her and her child. Mr. Macon burst out laughing, tapping Ms. Glover, who gave out a muffled smirk. Ms. Puckett submitted a picture of the text message she received, and it was read aloud to the courtroom. Mr. Macon reluctantly agreed that he sent it.
Oh, Get
Yes,
out of here with
he
that,
said
man.
me, her baby, and my kids, we all gonna move in together if it was his. Then he sent me another one, said if it was his, it come out to be his, that we was gonna make love to the sunrise.
Ms. Puckett submitted a document to the court showing that Mr. Macon signed the birth certificate of her child. Mr. Macon said he didn't sign any birth certificate. The judge said the court called the hospital, and they said that before signing the birth certificate, the father must provide a social security number. Mr. Macon said he didn't submit anything, that Ms. Puckett could have forged his name.
certificate of live birth, child's name, Stephen Terrence Macon Jr., father, co-parents, current legal name, Stephen Terrence Macon. Is that you, sir?
No, I ain't saying that. No. All right.
You know, this court understands that sometimes we get a little less than the truth from the plaintiffs and the defendants. So the court called the hospital in your home state where Ms. Puckett delivered.
Ms. Glover was called to give her version of events. She said that she doesn't believe that Mr. Macon is the father of Ms. Puckett's child. She said that Ms. Puckett was lying when she said she wasn't aware that she was in the picture. She said she confronted Mr. Macon after an incident involving Ms. Puckett's friends and her at her place of work, but Mr. Macon denied it.
Do you believe Ms. Puckett's child, Stephen Macon Jr., is in fact your boyfriend's biological child?
No, I don't believe that at all.
Why?
Can I start from the beginning?
Please
Her
do.
sitting here saying that she didn't know about me, let me tell you, I was at work. I worked at a gas station.
Ms. Glover said she answered Mr. Macon's call one fateful day, and it was Ms. Puckett. She introduced herself and said that Mr. Macon was sleeping with her. Ms. Glover said she decided to pay her a visit. She went over there and knocked at her door, and she heard people scrambling inside. She said that Ms. Puckett locked the door. She told Ms. Puckett that she might as well come outside for both of them to talk.
So I knock on her door. Who's there? I hear rumbling, doom, 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 doom. I hear folks doing backflips, body jumps, and everything behind the
Stop.
door, okay?
She knocked on my door like she was
I said, I
security or
hear you.
something.
I said, I hear you. I said, open the door. Saying, all right, click, click. The lock, that she didn't hit the lock. She got smart.
Ms. Puckett said she was at home on that day, but she didn't open the door because of the aggressiveness of the knock by Ms. Glover, and she had kids at home. A heated argument broke out between both women, with Ms. Glover's voice being the loudest. The judge had to step in to pacify the situation. The entire courtroom clapped. Only the DNA results can put out the flames brewing like a Molotov cocktail in the courtroom.
Mr. Macon Sr., you are his father.
You know what? You sent her that text message talking about some that's your baby, that y'all gonna have sex on into the sunlight.
Mr. Hodges, alongside his mother, drags Ms. Willard to court. Mr. Hodges claims that he's not the father of Ms. Willard's child. He said that Ms. Willard is a liar and a cheater, and he plans to prove it. Ms. Willard, also alongside her own mother, claims that she's 1,000% sure that Mr. Hodges is the father of her child.
Mr. Hodges, you and your mom opened your case today because you both say that the defendant is a liar and a cheater. You don't believe you fathered her 1-month-old daughter, Lillian Willard, and plan to prove that today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hodges said that Ms. Willard cheated on him and he caught her with multiple guys. He said when they first got together that Ms. Willard promised that she would never hurt him. Ms. Willard said she never cheated, that she had a guy visit her, a childhood friend. She said she didn't tell Mr. Hodges because of how insecure he was. She said she met Mr. Hodges through a family member.
She cheated on me and I caught her with multiple guys. She had one hidden in the room, and whenever we first got together, she said that she would never hurt me or cheat on me. She would be truthful, and yet she's lied to me left and right.
Miss Willard, you kept lying and you kept cheating?
No, I did not.
Mr. Hodges said she, Ms. Willard, had a one-night stand with a family member of his, and he was there to comfort her. He said they kept talking with each other for a week or so before getting together. Mr. Hodges' mom, Ms. Devlin, said she was the one that encouraged her son to pursue a DNA test because she knew that Ms. Willard was cheating on her son.
Oh, you met her after she had a one-night stand with another guy, and then she cried on your shoulder, and then you and she got together.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Blevins, I understand that you are the one who pushed your son to open this case.
Yes, Your Honor.
And why did you do that?
Because I knew that she had been cheating on him. He had caught her.
Mr. Hodges said he found the man hiding in Ms. Willard's mother's bedroom when he got there. Ms. Willard's mother, Ms. Sonia, said she helped in hiding the man in her room because she didn't want any drama to occur. The entire courtroom gasped. Ms. Sonia said her daughter and Mr. Hodges had broken up at the time. She said that Mr. Hodges has a temper. Mr. Hodges said they were engaged at the time. This was confirmed by Ms. Willard.
You found him hiding in the house.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hiding in the house where?
In her mother's bedroom.
But Your Honor,
Did you help hide the other guy in your bedroom when Mr. Hodges came?
They had broke up
So why you have to hide anybody?
because she didn't want him to know. She didn't want to hurt him. She didn't want to start no trouble because Harley's got a temper.
Well, we was engaged.
Ms. Devlin chipped in that Ms. Willard was already married when she got engaged to her son, and her son wasn't aware. The whole courtroom jeered. Ms. Willard didn't deny it. Ms. Devlin said she had always been wary of Ms. Willard, that she was sneaky and she was getting messages from other guys.
Now that makes more sense. When your fiance came in the house, then you hid this other guy in the...
Because I didn't want to fight to start. And Your Honor, she was already married when they got engaged that my son didn't know about.
So you were engaged to Mr. Hodges, but you were married to another guy at the time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Devlin submitted text message evidence showing that Ms. Willard was dating another man at the same time as her son. Ms. Devlin said the man was at the hospital when the child was born. Ms. Willard confirmed this. Ms. Sonia interjects that the man is saying that because he wants her daughter, that she has had a back and forth with the person before.
How did you find him?
It's the guy that was with her when Lillian was born at the hospital.
Do you have those messages?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me have those. Jerome, can you please bring me those messages? Thank you. Ms. Blevins says, I do understand my son was engaged to her and caught her cheating.
Ms. Willard said that the child in question wasn't her only child. Ms. Devlin said she hid that fact from them also. The judge listed all the things Ms. Willard had hidden from Mr. Hodges: a man, a marriage, a child. Mr. Hodges nodded his head in agreement. Mr. Hodges said he found out about the pregnancy after she was already 8 months in. He said he texted her every day to ask about the doctor's appointment.
She hid that from us too, at first.
Back it up, back it up. So she hid that she had a husband before she met you, and you were engaged to her when she really already had a husband. She hid that she had had a child, and she also hid a man in her mother's house when you came over.
Yes, Your Honor.
After being caught in her own web of lies, Ms. Willard said that Mr. Hodges is married now, and she didn't want to destroy his marriage. She said the reason she kept quiet before was because she was living with the other guy, and she hoped to keep living with the other guy, but they broke up. That's why she told Mr. Hodges that she was pregnant.
This is too much lying.
I know.
This is just too much lying. Now, I heard about 5 lies already. What is going on? Why are you texting him like the baby isn't born when the baby is born?
Okay, he's married now, and I just didn't want to break up a marriage when he found out he had a kid by another person.
Ms. Willard, with tears in her eyes, said all she wanted was a family. The judge took the floor after sensing that an argument might break out. Ms. Devlin said she doesn't have any bad feelings towards Ms. Willard, that she just wants to find out who the baby belongs to. Ms. Willard was still crying in the background. Mr. Hodges said he hopes that the child will be his. Only the DNA result can put this to an amicable end.
Mr. Hodges, you are the father. We have the answer we needed, and it was actually the answer all of you wanted.
Mr. Hughes brings his mother and his ex-girlfriend to court. He said they're stuck in a heated argument. Ms. Macbeth, Mr. Hughes' mother, petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that her son is not the father of Ms. Jackson's 2-year-old son. She's also suing Ms. Jackson for $1,000 for defamation of character. She claims Ms. Jackson posted comments on social media that she and her family are deadbeats. Ms. Jackson disagrees with her claims.
McBirth, Terrell versus Jackson.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Hughes, you say you're stuck between your mother and your ex-girlfriend who are in a heated dispute in court today. Ms. McBirth, you petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove your son, Kakitho Hughes, is not the father of Ms. Jackson's 2-year-old son.
Ms. Macbeth said Ms. Jackson is trouble with a capital T. She said she's trash, trouble, and trifling. The entire courtroom gasped. She said Ms. Jackson's child looked nothing like her son or any members of her family. She said the child had no features like her son. She submitted a picture of the child and her son to corroborate her point.
Paternity test will prove you right. So, Ms. McBirth, why do you believe your son's not the father?
This woman is trouble. She is trouble with a capital T. She, as a matter of fact, I call her the 3 T's. Trash, trouble, and trifling. That's what she is. The little boy looks nothing like my son or any member of my family at all. Can I show it? Can I?
Absolutely, ma'am. What did you bring? Piece of evidence, Jerome, may I see that, please?
Ms. Jackson said she had no idea why Ms. Macbeth had so much doubt about the paternity of her child. She said maybe because the child was white. Ms. Macbeth chipped in. She said the baby was white, with no single trace of black in him. Ms. Jackson said she was only intimate with Mr. Hughes during the course of their 18 months relationship. Ms. Macbeth said she's lying. She said it repeatedly.
I have no idea, to be honest. Like, maybe because he is so white?
Because he's all the white. He ain't got no black in here. Everything I see got powder puff on it. I don't see no chocolate nowhere, okay?
No, ma'am.
Whatever.
Let me understand this relationship. So how long have you been in a relationship with?
Mr. Hughes' sister, who was also present in court, said that Ms. Jackson was a vampire and a drive-by. She said that Mr. Hughes was in a committed relationship of 10 years, that they didn't know Ms. Jackson. Ms. Macbeth said he has 2 little babies, and those are her grandchildren. The sister continued, she said that Ms. Jackson was just a side chick, and she has been trying to put her child on them.
Has been in our life. She's never was a girlfriend. You are a vampire. You are just a fly-by-night. We didn't know anything about you. He's been in a relationship for 10 years. So
Mr. Hughes has.
In 10 years.
In 10 years.
He's been by another woman. And those are my...
Ms. Macbeth said that Ms. Jackson has to get the thought out of her head that the child is not her grandchild. Mr. Hughes' sister said when Ms. Jackson was pregnant, she asked her if she knew or if she thought her brother was responsible for it. Ms. Jackson said she thinks he is. The sister continued. She said they asked Ms. Jackson for a DNA test while she was pregnant and she agreed, but after giving birth, she was no longer forthcoming.
That child is not my son's baby, period.
Well, let me first, of course, state the obvious, which I'm hoping you know as well, being African American. You know our children come in all colors, shades.
Elijah
She told me
is very
he wasn't.
white.
She told me she didn't know who the father was.
Mr. Hughes' sister, Ms. Temmel, said the child also had Ms. Jackson's ex-husband's name. Ms. Jackson said that's because the name was also her own last name. Ms. Macbeth said her son's name wasn't on the birth certificate. Ms. Temmel said that nobody's name was on the birth certificate. A heated argument broke out between the three women. The judge had to step in to restore order. Ms. Macbeth said she was tired of hookers dropping babies and claiming that her son was responsible for it. She turned to Ms. Jackson and shouted that her son is not responsible for her child. Ms. Jackson said that it was a lie. Ms. Temmel said that Ms. Jackson was a liar and a cheat, that one of her wild parties was shut down by the police 2 weeks ago. Ms. Jackson refuted the claims that Ms. Temmel was lying.
He's not here. No, that's a lie. You know exactly where he was at, and he had no. If she truly wanted him to take a DNA test, she could have had it done, but she didn't want to. Plus, the baby has her ex-husband's last name.
That's because that's my last name.
And so hold on now, if you don't think the child is his, why would she be trying to change the name?
Well,
We've been trying to change the name a couple weeks ago. Even we talked about it.
He's two years.
My son ain't said
His
no lie
name's
like
not even
that.
on the
Stop
birth
lying.
certificate.
Stop lying.
Okay.
Whose name is on the birth certificate?
Mr. Hughes said he gave Ms. Jackson the benefit of the doubt because he is biracial. He said his father is white. There were jeers and clapping around the courtroom. Ms. Macbeth said that the child does not belong to her son. Ms. Temmel said Mr. Hughes told them last night that that wasn't his baby. Mr. Hughes denied this.
You are Elijah's father.
I just gave him the benefit of the doubt because I'm biracial. My father's white, you know, so he...
That child is not my son, okay? Yeah. She got men coming and going in and out of her house.
Mr. Hughes said he has heard the child call another man Dad a few times. He said that Ms. Jackson was also with another biracial man before him. He said that Ms. Jackson throws a lot of doubt into the whole situation. Ms. Macbeth said she was tired of taking care of babies on behalf of her son. The defamation case was dismissed due to lack of evidence. Only the DNA results can end this dispute.
Pertaining to 2-year-old Elijah Jackson and whether Mr. Hughes is the father. Mr. Hughes, you are Elijah's father.
Ms. Thomas appears in court alongside her daughter, Ms. Fields. She's seeking to prove that Ms. Armster is trying to trap her son, Mr. Griffin, into believing that he's the father of her 5-month-old baby. Ms. Armster believes she was pregnant by Mr. Griffin before she had sex with another man. She said the only reason that Mr. Griffin's family is denying paternity is because they hate her. Mr. Griffin said he's torn between both parties.
Ms. Thomas, you are here today along with your daughter, Ms. Fields, seeking the results of a paternity test on the defendant's 5-month-old son, Cameron. You claim that Ms. Armster is promiscuous, had sex with other men around the time she conceived, and is lying.
Ms. Thomas said that Ms. Armster has no home training and that she has a bad reputation in their town. She said her son was the only one that has ever loved her. Ms. Thomas said her son was in high school. He came home one day and told her that Ms. Armster was pregnant. Ms. Thomas said they had broken up over 4 months prior. She said that Ms. Armster got pregnant during the breakup period, so anybody could be the father.
You are Cameron's father and feel completely torn between your family and your girlfriend.
Yes, sure.
All right, now Ms. Thomas, why do you believe Ms. Armster is trying to trap your son?
Your Honor, Ms. Armster has no home training and she has a bad reputation in our town.
Ms. Thomas said she got other grandkids, and this baby doesn't look anything like the rest of them. She mentioned the child's hairline. Ms. Armster was asked if she was sleeping with another man before she got pregnant. The question ensued into a heated argument between Ms. Armster and Ms. Thomas. The judge had to use her gavel to restore order.
Look at his hairline. Look at that baby hairline. I know my grandchildren.
So, Ms. Armster, tell me, you were sleeping with more than one man? No. Correct.
Ms. Armster said during the time of conception she was sleeping with just Mr. Griffin. Mr. Griffin said he had some doubts because he wasn't around Ms. Armster that much during her time of conception. He said he really needs to find out. He said he just wants everything to be over so that he can get his life back on track. He said he wants to go to college and do special things. The entire courtroom clapped.
I don't don't know whether you were cheating or if you weren't, but if you sleep with more than one man unprotected during a period of time, the time of conception, then they both could potentially be the father of your child.
That wasn't the time of conception.
Ms. Armster said she doesn't think settling the issue will make things calm down. She said Ms. Thomas has been attacking her since even before her child was born. She said Ms. Thomas called the hospital telling her son not to sign the birth certificate, that she was trying to trap him. Ms. Thomas said some snide remarks.
So you understand that this is an unhealthy environment for a child.
It's a very unhealthy environment for my child. But like I said, I feel like it will quiet things down for her.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I don't, because
Mr. Griffin said he was there for the birth of the child. He said he didn't sign the birth certificate, not because his mom called him. He said he didn't sign it for his own personal reasons. He said he wasn't sure if the baby was his, and he didn't want to go through the hurdles of removing his name in the future.
Jason's name not on it. He went back and told his mama or whoever he told, and then now she going around telling everybody I forged his name on the birth certificate.
Excuse me, forged my name, but I did say
Okay.
Another heated argument broke out between Ms. Thomas and Ms. Armister. Order was restored by the judge. Ms. Fields said she took Ms. Armister into her residence when she was 6 months pregnant. She said she took care of her and her unborn child. She said she has no ill towards Ms. Armister, but they have to clear the air concerning paternity because of the rumors and how Ms. Armister carries herself as a woman.
Return to court and get a DNA done on the child because I didn't know whether this is my son's child or not.
It doesn't matter. Like it's not.
Another heated argument broke out between the three women present. The judge asked Mr. Griffin if this is what he has been experiencing. Mr. Griffin said it has been chaotic, that he has experienced this for over a year now. He said he doesn't have any proof his girlfriend was sleeping around with other men.
It's been chaotic as well for me. Like I gotta hear this every day, and it's not only coming from my girlfriend who I've been with for 4 years. It's coming from my mom, and she's known me all my life, and I just don't like to see us fighting like this.
Ms. Thomas and Ms. Fields said that 4 other men are popping up claiming to be the father of the baby. They said even Ms. Armister's sister was spreading rumors that Ms. Armister was sleeping around. Ms. Thomas said if she finds out that the child belongs to her son, that she will take the baby away from Ms. Armister. Ms. Armister started banging on the podium that nobody will take her child. Only the DNA results can stop this chaos.
Mr. Griffin, you are not his father. Don't do that. Mr. Griffin, I know this wasn't the answer you wanted to hear.
I've been everything for him. Everything. I'd do anything for him.
Ms. Lindsay drags Ms. Cade to court. She claims that Ms. Cade is trying to use her child to trap her son, Mr. Marvin, and reap the rewards of his success as a musician. She claims that Ms. Cade cheated on her son the month she got pregnant, and she's claiming her son is the father. Ms. Cade said even though she's uncertain about paternity, financial gain is not her motivation.
Good day, everyone. Ms. Lindsay, you claim the defendant, Ms. Cade, is using her child to try to trap your son and reap the rewards of his success as a musician. You say she cheated on your son the very month she got pregnant, yet is still claiming that he fathered her child.
Ms. Lindsay said that Ms. Cade is a liar and she's nasty. Ms. Cade interjected, she said that wasn't true. Sensing that an argument might break out, the judge stepped in. Ms. Lindsay said that before Ms. Cade got involved with her son, she was best friends with her daughter. The daughter, Ms. Johnson, was present in court. She said Ms. Cade had a history. She said Ms. Cade, as a teenager, slept with most of her age mates back then.
Now, Ms. Lindsay, tell the court about Ms. Cade and your son's relation.
Okay, Nicole is a liar.
Excuse me, Your Honor, that is not true.
Let me tell you,
Hold on, one at a time now. Ms. Lindsay, tell me now, what's going on in this relationship that has...
Ms. Cade jumped in. She said that was not true. Ms. Lindsay was still going on, saying that Ms. Cade was a liar and a tramp. Ms. Lindsay said she has 7 kids and 12 grandkids. She said she hears them talking about the escapades that go on in the steam room. She said that what she said about Ms. Cade is true. Ms. Cade countered her, saying that it is false.
She's a liar and she's a tramp.
Not at all.
So wait, do you have proof of that? That she slept with everybody?
This. I would hear them. I'm a mother. I have 7 kids and 12 grandkids, Your Honor. And I hear them down there talking about their little escapades.
Ms. Cade said it was a lie, that she doesn't get down that easily. Ms. Lindsay screamed, "Blood of Jesus," in the background. Ms. Cade said that Ms. Lindsay has had a problem with her since, and she didn't want her friendship with her son. She said she has no idea why Ms. Lindsay hated her.
She's a liar and the truth ain't in
Ms.
it.
Cade, were you all up in the sauna and steam room?
Of course not. I am a young lady. I do not get down like that, personally. I do not
Why
get
do
down
you
like
think
that.
Ms. Lindsay is making these allegations?
She has a problem with me since
Ms. Cade said maybe because she's best friend with Ms. Lindsay's daughter and she's also dating her son. Ms. Lindsay says she's tearing her family apart. She said she warned her daughter about hooking up her brother with her best friend, that her daughter knew how Ms. Cade was. She continued, she said, Ms. Cade is a gold digger and a tramp, and she's only with her son because of his music career.
really has a problem with me, and I want to know why. Maybe because I'm best friends with her daughter and I took her son.
Because she's tearing my family apart.
She just
yeah.
And
doesn't want me
how
to
is
have
it
both
that
of
you
them.
believe she's tearing your family apart?
Because I told my daughter it was a bad idea in the beginning. You don't.
Mr. Marvin said he hopes the baby is his. He said he has been there since day one. He said he doesn't know for a fact, but he wants it to be his baby. He said he had some doubts because of some reasons. He said 2 days after the baby was born, he was in the hospital, and the doctors were asking for the father because the baby had sleek and curly hair, and he was right there.
That the baby is mine with everything in my heart. I hope that it's my baby.
I think he would
I've
believe
been there
it more
for the baby
if
since
she
day
didn't
one.
keep
Hope and
interjecting and saying
believe
no.
are two different things.
Yeah, I don't know for a fact. I believe that it's my baby and I want it to be my baby.
So when you say
Mr. Marvin said as the baby was growing up, his complexion became lighter. He said the man that Ms. Cade cheated on him with was light-skinned. Ms. Cade said she didn't cheat, that they were on a break at the time. Mr. Marvin said the other man was Spanish and black, and the baby has the same hair as him.
Okay, my doubts are based upon, like I said, what the doctor said about her, and I'm right there, and they couldn't see the resemblance, so they asked, was the father or where was the
she's a
father?
little baby,
She looks
children
like me.
grow
That's
and
cool.
change.
Of
like
course,
her
I know
mother.
I needed time for her features to develop, but
Ms. Cade said she slept with both men during her window of conception. She said she admitted to Mr. Marvin, and he was understanding of the situation. Ms. Lindsay interrupted her, saying that she's not understanding of the situation. Ms. Cade said when she found out about the pregnancy, she immediately thought it belonged to Mr. Marvin and not the other guy.
Together and it was cheating. The issue that's relevant to this court is whether you slept both men in the same time, that period of conception.
Yes,
Yes,
I
she
did.
did.
And you did.
I admitted to
Obviously.
Marvin what I have done, and he was understanding about it.
But I'm not.
Ms. Lindsay said her kids had a toe deformity and the baby doesn't have it. Ms. Johnson said Ms. Cade ruined their friendship because she was a liar. She said she didn't believe her brother is the father of Ms. Cade's child. A heated argument broke out between the three women. Mr. Marvin said this is what he has been experiencing. Only the DNA results can keep this family together.
Mr. Wells, you are her father.